This episode is brought to you by Peloton. Break through the busiest time of year with the brand new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus. Powered by Peloton IQ. With real-time guidance and endless ways to move, you can personalize your workouts and train with confidence, helping you reach your goals in less time. Let yourself run, lift, sculpt, push, and go. Explore the new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus at onepeloton.com.
News team, assemble!
It's back and bigger than ever. It's the Unofficial 40 from Soonerscoop.com. Now, here's the entire Sooner Scoop crew. Carey, Josh, Eddie, and
George.
Welcome back. It is another edition of the Unofficial 40 podcast. The crew is here. Josh McCuistion, Eddie Radosevich, George Stoya. I am Carey Murdock. Not George Toya, but George Stoya. I've been told that George is hard at work trying to get George Toya to never show up in Norman out of jealousy. Oh, we got to turn your mic on. Sorry, George.
Phasing me out. I believe it's called censorship, George.
We heard your takes on the women's skating team last night. We didn't want the world to hear it. We're Gestapo around here. They deserve some bad takes, or deserve to be criticized, I guess. We've watched a lot of Olympics, Josh. I don't know about you. Have the girls been into the skating?
I think it's more like it's on.
It surprises me what they'll watch, because you would absolutely expect it to be the skating, and they kind of like that, like a little bit. Lainey, but they both have their different things. Like Layla really likes like the luge and the bobsled and that kind of stuff. And Lainey is really into like the big stunt stuff, like the big air, that kind of stuff competitions. That seems to be what drags her in.
Now, is she the one that's skateboarding currently?
Layla is my skateboarder. So
Okay.
you would think she'd be really into snowboard, but not really at this point. So, I don't know. They're definitely both Summer Olympics girls with their tennis and soccer. Layla started off her new soccer season with a couple of goals last week. So
there we go.
The U.S. national team is currently on my call list.
Eddie, I don't think you're going to light the torch with that attitude about that we're just casually watching it around the office. And when they come to Oklahoma City,
Summer
I expect
Olympics.
you to be there.
Summer Olympics, different story. I'll be there.
Will they light a torch in Oklahoma City?
I don't know. Probably not, since the games are in Los Angeles, but I don't know.
I bet they do.
Casey Wasserman's still in charge. They might move it to Oklahoma City. We never know.
All right. We have a recruiting report coming tomorrow. We did an instant reaction to the hiring of, how are we deciding to pronounce his first name? Deland McCullough, which we all know there were some issues pronouncing the McCullough name several years ago. I think we've got that figured out now. But go check that out on YouTube if you want more information. We'll cover it here as well. But we'll have a recruiting report tomorrow as well to talk more in depth about the changeover from DeMarco Murray to Deland McCullough. And obviously, it looks like the Sooners have kind of, for the time being, I don't really envision any more moves going on with the staff unless somebody takes an NFL job. But it appears that now, as spring football is more than a month away still, 25th, I believe, will be the start date. We've had 2 turnovers at the coaching position, the tight ends and the running backs, which I think a lot of people. 3. Who am I missing?
Jay Valai,
yeah, at cornerback.
Come on. Let's get.
I mean,
Let's get this.
I'm focused on the guys that people were wanting to leave. I don't think anybody was really wanting Jay Valai to leave.
Okay.
But no,
continue on.
Anyway, I was wrong. It was 3. So here we are. And is Oklahoma better than they were just 3 months ago as a staff at the end of the season?
I think undoubtedly they are.
Yeah.
And, I said it on the instant reaction, but especially on offense. I think defense, it's probably the same. Like, I just don't know much about Lamar Morgan to know one way or the other. But, like, if Lamar
seems like a good hire.
Yeah. But, like, I mean, if you told OU fans that they would be replacing Joe John Finley and DeMarco Murray after the season with a Hall of Famer and a coach that is
well respected
as anybody at that position in Deland McCullough, I think that they'd be like, yes, sign me up for that.
And I love the fact that there's a lot of synergy on this staff with Kevin Wilson and now Deland McCullough having worked together before. You brought this up earlier in the group, George, that maybe it was Eddie, that Brent had kind of put a mandate out there that they need to get better in the running game. Well, how much better can you get when you tag Kevin Wilson during the offseason with a $500,000 salary, which you don't tag somebody with that much money if they're not going to be heavily involved in shaping the offense in some form or fashion, and then you bring in a guy that was with him for 6 years to Indiana. I don't sense, guys, that there's ever really been any kind of rift between Ben Arbuckle and Kevin Wilson in terms. I mean, to me, Ben Arbuckle has been more than welcoming of any input that Kevin Wilson has been willing to give him, including kind of early in the season being by his side on game days.
And I think this is also, and I don't know, I'd love to pick Brent's brain and put some truth serum in him, but I think that he has kind of entrusted Kevin Wilson to get this run game going. Like I think that that's kind of been a task for Kevin this offseason is to help with that. And obviously I think Brent trusts Ben Arbuckle to do that too, but it's pretty clear just based on his salary alone that Kevin Wilson's very involved. And I can tell you too that, and I put this on the board, Deland McCullough, I don't know if he's coming to Oklahoma if Kevin Wilson is not on staff. Miami came after him pretty hard over the last 24 hours, McCullough that is. And, I don't know if he would have chose Oklahoma if Kevin Wilson wasn't here. We all saw Kevin's tweet last night. I think that's kind of what set off the alarm bells for everybody, being like, oh, is this a McCullough tweet? So I think that they are obviously very close. I think that was a part of this hire, but I also think that it's pretty clear Kevin Wilson is an important part of the things that they're doing inside the building right now, especially schematically on offense, I think.
And I can't tell you, whether or not he was offered, the tight end position, before Jason Witten was. I think there were some discussions. Some people I've talked to made it sound like, if he had really wanted that, maybe it could have happened. But in the end, just talking to people around Kevin, I don't know that he wants to be a full-time coach right now in terms of coaching a position, being responsible for, every aspect of a game, playing along with Ben Arbuckle. I think he's just enjoying, after being a head coach and being at programs like Indiana and Tulsa, he's just enjoying being back at Oklahoma and being able to kind of, not really in the background, but just do the job that he does, which is be a part of football, be a part of offense, be a part of shaping, what this program is about offensively. So I think he's, with the $500,000, salary, I mean, he's got to be, above the moon for the position that he's in right now. I don't know how many coaches around the country, have positions like he has. And
yeah,
done.
Yeah. I don't know.
There can't be many. And again, I think that's a perfect role, Carey, because for what you're saying, from what you're hearing from people around him, that makes a ton of sense. I know everybody and Kevin Wilson clearly is qualified to be the tight ends coach at Oklahoma. Like there's no question about that.
He's
but
qualified to be the offensive coordinator.
Yes, of course. I just don't think there's any question. All right, I don't think most people understand what a slog it is to be a position coach. Like that is a lot of time on the road. You're traveling all the time. Like you're moving. And that's one thing when you're in your 20s, 30s, early 40s. It's a little different when you're getting up there. Like that's a harder thing to ask of somebody, and I think it's a bigger grind than what maybe you want to do. And Kevin Wilson's made his money. What he's making now, he can more than comfortably live with what he's already done, I'm sure.
And the other thing, Josh, is, I mean, you and I go back a long ways with Kevin. Like, he had a great reputation of evaluating and developing big athletes. And if this offense wants to get better in the run game, whether it's tight ends, H-backs, whatever, he's got a great track record. I mean, go back to Brody Eldridge. I mean, that nobody really looked at. Brought him in and was a difference maker for them.
he's the one that I like. Everybody could easily point to Jermaine Gresham, and like I get it. Everybody was like Jermaine Gresham special. Like that wasn't a huge flashing news story. Brody Eldridge, I mean, his career path is nuts. Like he was a really good tight end, and then it was just like, okay, we're going to make him a center, and he was successful. Like it's crazy how that guy worked. And again, just having an ability, like you said it, Carey, to find big bodies that are athletes, and that, okay, like I don't know what you're going to be yet, but we can work with what your physical tools say you can do.
And the thing about Kevin back then was like they put him in charge of like Missouri and Kansas, and his specialty was going throughout those two states and finding the Trey Millards and the Dimitri Flowers and the guys like that were going to be centerpieces of an offense that helped you establish a physical presence on offense.
Yeah, people are going to get you actually with Dimitri being from Texas, but like I know what you're saying. Like absolutely true. And again, to not turn this into a recruiting thing, but those are states that I don't think people respect how good they've been to Oklahoma. Like there is a lot of good, maybe not like a lot of like great players, but a lot of really good players at Oklahoma. The Geno Grissom's, the Trey Millards, you got Blake Bell. I mean, you got to list a lot of good impact from those areas, and a lot of it from connected to Kevin Wilson.
Oh, who is the fullback that I'm forgetting about? That was white dude.
Not Ripkowski.
Ripkowski is who I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that that dude was fun. Yeah, I'm trying to think of some of the others.
Ripkowski's kind of lost to history. Nobody remembers him.
He's one of those guys, man. That happens at a place like Oklahoma.
Of course, K-State had the Gronkowski brother at the same time, I think, that kind of took the shine off of him. But no, I mean, look, I think it's a good situation. Going back to McCullough coming in here, as you guys pointed out on the instant reaction, tons of pro experience, just coming from the Raiders. Miami wanted him. He did a great job at Notre Dame in the 2 years, George, that he was there. 3. Yeah. Obviously, known as an evaluator and a guy that can get production out of running back. So it's going to be, I think it's a pretty good trade.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I know that we talked a lot about the development, but Josh, when you look at the numbers and what some of these guys have done, George, I don't know if you have that handy. I do. Pretty incredible to look at the numbers and see, and I think AJ Schultz put it out there on Twitter, the number that Oklahoma hasn't had a 1,000-yard rusher in basically 4 years now, going into their 4th year since 2022. You look at the guys that he's been able to develop, over 1,000 yards of offense since 2011. He said 16 different guys. It's proof is kind of in the pudding, kind of.
Yeah. Go ahead, Josh.
Oh, go ahead, George. No. Go ahead.
I was just going to say some of the names, on the list of guys that he's, worked with. Jeremiah Love, obviously, is going to be the one that everybody talks about because he's the most recent guy. Ashton Jeanty, too, I guess, this last year with the Raiders. But Audric Estime, Ronald Jones at USC, Divine Redding at Indiana, Jordan Howard at Indiana, Tevin Coleman at Indiana. Like, these are guys that he was able to develop into NFL players, and all those guys rushed for over 1,000 yards in at least one season. And the thing, too, is, guys, you look at some of his stats over the course of the last 15 years that he's been a running backs coach. Even in years that maybe he didn't have a 1,000-yard rusher, he had a guy reaching 900 yards, and then the second running back hitting 800 yards. Like, he's been able to have multiple guys have success and also just be able to run the football. So I think that you look at the room that he's inheriting, I think there's talent in there. They just need to have some good coaching and some development, and I think he can get that out of these guys. So I think it's an outstanding hire, and especially we can get into some of the other names. Curtis Looper from Missouri I think would have been a good hire, and I do think OU was very serious about potentially hiring him. Deshaun Foster I think would have been a solid hire. I know he wasn't a good head coach at UCLA, but has a good history of being a good running backs coach.
Any chance you're hearing that he could still be a part of the staff as an analyst? Or is that ship sailed?
I think that ship might have sailed. I think he kind of passed on that potential opportunity. So I think he was more interested in the running backs job. I wouldn't be shocked if Deshaun Foster maybe just takes a year off from coaching. We'll see. But I think what happened here was McCullough was definitely on Oklahoma's radar, but once the Raiders, informed him that they weren't retaining him and that he wasn't, going to be on the new staff there with Clint Kubiak, I think that opened the door for Oklahoma, because I think Oklahoma, there's had been some other names out there that OU was kind of focused on, and with the previous relationship with Kevin Wilson and even Brent, with him having coached Desan and Day, I think that was like it moved very quickly once McCullough became an actual real option.
Real quick before we move on, I want to tell you guys about our good friends over at Cody Drug, CodyDrugRx.com. Whether you're looking to drop weight, boost energy, or just feel better as we get into 2026, Cody Drug definitely has you covered. They offer multiple custom compounded peptide-based weight loss options, including GLP-1 medications and performance-focused peptides that help you recover faster, burn fat, and stay sharp. They also love teaming up with Oklahoma med spas and longevity clinics to deliver high-quality peptides quickly, safely, and with top-tier service. So if you want to chase those New Year's resolutions, go visit CodyDrugRx.com to learn more, see how you can get started, and go check them out on Instagram at CodyDrugRx. That's their handle, CodyDrugRx, and you'll see our guy Will tell you all about ways that you can feel better throughout your day, and all the stuff that you see on Instagram, and there's a lot of health-based stuff. Go check with Cody Drug RX first, CodyDrugRx.com. Get in touch with them. Ask them about your goals and what they can do to help you. And also, they offer personalized medicine, and they're built for champions. So go check them out, CodyDrugRx.com. And Eddie Radosevich here once again with our Vision Report.
Well, you'll need to be able to see if you want to be able to contact Will. New year, Sooner fans, and that means new opportunities to get back into the college football playoff, win championships, and thanks to Enjoy Vision, you can save $1,000 on LASIK and lens replacement. Contact readers are very, very last season. It's time to see every play, every highlight, and every win with crystal clear vision. Schedule your free LASIK or lens replacement consultation at enjoyvision.com. That is the letter NJOY, vision.com. And start the new year with a fresh perspective. Keep an extra $1,000 in your pocket while you're at it. Enjoy Vision. This is where Suter Scoop LASIKs.
All right, let's talk about that running back room a little bit. I mean, obviously, Xavier Robinson, you've got Torrey Blaylock coming back, newcomers coming in. Like, how do we feel about the running back room, Josh, as Deland McCullough takes over?
I was looking over it as George was kind of talking about it, and I was refreshing myself a little bit on Tevin Coleman. I just had it in my head that Tevin was a little bit smaller guy. The thing that I think you're seeing is Deland McCullough has a pretty good track record with different types of running backs. Obviously, to be as successful as he is, you have to do so. But what I noticed that I didn't realize, Tevin Coleman was part of his first recruiting class in Indiana. Like, that was his first shot at a running back, and he gets a guy that goes for 2,000 yards in 2014. So, like, that's a pretty solid return rate. And then, obviously, Jordan Howard. Both guys, though, kind of in that 5'10", 6 foot, like 210, 215-pound range. So, big physical kind of backs that really, frankly, fit what OU has with Xavier Robinson, with Jonathan Hatton, those kind of power backs. Now, what is interesting, from a speed body type situation, Torrey Blaylock looks a lot more like Jeremiah Love. Like that's kind of, I'm certainly not saying he's that guy. That's a mouthful, I know. But like I think there are guys here that he can find use in. This isn't a situation where he's going to come in and say, I'll do this, this will work, but these aren't going to be my kind of guys. I think he's pretty well suited for these styles of backs. And so I think that can be something where you don't have to see, it's going to take a year for him to kind of turn over that room. I think he can do well early on. And again, we talked about this on the instant reaction, guys. Our question was never talent accumulation with DeMarco Murray. You could talk about rotations, you could talk about development, some of that kind of stuff, but he's brought in good talent, and I think the most talented back he has recruited is currently a true freshman at OU. So I think that is a great sign when you have a guy like Deland McCullough and his track record of him being able to develop somebody like Jonathan Hatton.
I mean, really, outside of Jonathan Hatton, is there anybody physically that you see, okay, this guy, might be able to do something as a true freshman?
Does Zephan Walker, again, the thing that surprised me, and I knew he was a sturdy guy, but seeing some of the stuff from him, doing some of the early season workouts, he checked in at I want to say 212 or something like that. I mean, pretty impressive number where you're okay, there's plenty there. That guy's not going to be physically overwhelmed or anything like that. So again, if he can, just develop and kind of get a grasp of the offense, it wouldn't shock me at all, guys, if he's it's going to be tough because it's a crowded running back room. But if you told me he had, 60, 70 carries this year, I don't think that's crazy. I think that's within the realm of possibility.
See, I think we're seeing Xavier Robinson kind of his body is starting to change a little bit. I think he still makes some gains there, but you think that's kind of the same thing with Hatton? He just needs to kind of be in a real strength and conditioning program and kind of get that body fat down a little bit.
Kind of, because and you would never see Jonathan be oh, he's kind of got some baby fat. He just doesn't as big and powerful as he is. He's not a guy where you're well, that dude's just all muscle. That's not what you see when you see Jonathan. Now, he's not soft or anything like that, and Steele's a great program, so he's been working in a good environment, but he is one of those guys that you wonder, Carey, kind of like Kenneth Murray, when Kenneth Murray showed up and you were man, this guy's a good athlete, let's see. And then, they come out in the fall and they're he's 235. What the hell just happened? I could see Jonathan Hatton being the kind of guy where you're he put on 10 pounds of muscle and looks like he's carved out of wood. I could absolutely see that for him.
And just as a comparison, and this is the ultimate comparison, it's not fair, but Josh, you and I, when we saw Adrian Peterson in high school, when you'd see him out of a football uniform, he looked like a basketball player. There was very low body fat, and then when he put on the pads, it was he became a monster. But he wasn't just overly muscly, and he became that. But he was a guy that you looked at him I think that dude might be a basketball player.
He was big, and I don't know of a better term for it than country strong. I've told this story before. Shaking his hand, that dude would break your hand. One of the strongest grips I ever felt. And so you knew he was really strong, but it wasn't weight room strong. He hadn't gotten in there and put in the time. But we've all heard the legends, the stuff almost immediately, of OU staff kind of trying to break him, and we're just we can't break him. He's just different. And again, that's like we said earlier, that's a hell of a lot to put on Jonathan Hatton. Yeah. But at the same time, I do think there is, as big and strong as people will see Jonathan Hatton, I think there's a lot more to what he can physically become than where he is right now.
All right. So, there's going to be a lot that's going to happen quickly when spring football starts. I would imagine we'll probably get out there and see some practice. Brent's always pretty good about that. So we'll get to see with our own eyes kind of, what some of these guys, especially the freshmen, I know will really kind of focus in on a lot. And then, guys coming back from injury or things like that. But, it's I think that's the most interesting part of spring is that now you have so many guys that are coming in early that it's going to be hard to kind of keep track of them all. But also that means the guys that stand out will really kind of stand out, Eddie and George.
Yeah, I think so. I wish spring football started tomorrow. It'd be awesome. But, it'll come in time, about a month away. And we'll see these guys. I'm fairly interested to see just in terms of, OU offensively, not just what Witten and DeLon look like from a coaching standpoint out there, how intense they are. But I'm ready to see some of these new guys that are going to be in both
Parker
of those
Livingston
rooms.
Look like, amongst everybody else.
Do you think Deland McCullough is going to curse as much as DeMarco Murray did?
I don't think that goal could be met. I don't think that would be possible to curse more than DeMarco, but I hope he does. That's awesome.
By the way, people might not know this. Deland McCullough has the most incredible story, just in terms of life growing up. He was orphaned, I guess. Not orphan. I don't know if you really call it orphan, but he was
adopted.
Was he adopted? Okay. Did not know who his father was. There's actually a documentary that was done where he was featured on it. I can't even remember what that was called. I sent you guys the link earlier today. What is a father?
Show Me the Father.
Show Me the Father, where he's one of the guys that was featured on it. And he actually, the guy that grew up kind of being his mentor was actually his father, and like didn't find out until later in life that was the case. But just an unbelievable story, and I'm sure when we get a chance to talk to him, we'll probably just be blown away. Of course, we've dealt with his sons. I mean, they were great to deal with, but knowing, getting to know where they came from and this guy, I mean, I gotta imagine just as a whole, being in the NFL, being in college, he's going to relate really well to people, and he's going to be really good at establishing relationships. But I don't know, George, how much you really dug into it, but Josh, I know you said there was a big ESPN article that you read on it, but just his background, just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's crazy. I honestly don't know much about his background. I do know that like he's one of the most respected coaches like in college football and in the NFL. I mean, he was interviewed just last week by the Chiefs. Like there was some thought that he was going to end up being the Chiefs running backs coach. He obviously worked for the Chiefs for 3 years, won a Super Bowl with them. And so I don't know why they ended up not hiring him, but obviously they ended up hiring DeMarco. But this is a guy that I think a lot of people like. And I know talking to people last night when this was starting to come up, the overarching theme was like, you're going to love this guy. Like this guy's awesome.
Raised in Youngstown, Ohio, adopted at birth.
That works.
He spent decades in football. This is according to Gemini. Spent decades in football as a player and coach, guided by a mentor, Sherman Smith, who he later discovered was his biological father, having coached him at Miami of Ohio without either knowing their connection.
It's insane.
That's incredible. He's been.
What's the math on that? Like that's just unbelievable coincidence.
I don't know the math.
I mean, I obviously rhetorical.
I mean, what in
like,
a trillion?
It's just, it's just like almost. If there wasn't like you watch the thing and you listen to the people talking, it's clear that's true. Like that's the way it played out. But it's so hard to believe that could even happen. That feels like something you put in a movie and nobody would buy it.
He was coaching for the Kansas City Chiefs, according to this ESPN article, when he went searching for his biological parents.
Close your eyes, exhale, feel your body relax, and let go of whatever you're carrying today.
Well, I'm letting go of the worry that I wouldn't get my new contacts in time for this class. I got them delivered free from 1-800-CONTACTS. Oh my gosh, they're so fast.
And breathe.
Oh, sorry. I almost couldn't breathe when I saw the discount they gave me on my first order. Oh, sorry. Namaste.
Visit 1-800-CONTACTS.com today to save on your first order.
1-800-CONTACTS.
You saw the game-winning play once, but have to replay it 3 times on the way back to the hotel. Because some moments don't end at the buzzer. Life's a trip. Make the most of it at Best Western. Book direct and save at bestwestern.com.
Ended up being that it was his mentor all along. Just incredible. So, outside of that, guys, I mean, Josh, we'll have the recruiting report coming up, but obviously some news out there with a commitment coming in Zane Rowe. What can you tell us about kind of the timeline on that? And I know people were expecting like maybe it was kind of announced that he was going to have this date and it flew by and there was no announcement. But now it's been kind of set in stone, I guess, if you will.
Yeah, he's announced, and everybody had kind of thought Valentine's Day, and now it looks like it's going to be about a month from that. I think March 13th is the date he announced. And for a long time now, and we've talked about this since going to Under Armour, it has felt like Oklahoma. Talking to some people over the last, hour or so, I'm not as confident as I once was. Now, there's still time to change. I don't think it's a situation where he won't, he's locked in and the door's closed on Oklahoma. But I would just say right now, I think if he picks, I don't think it's Oklahoma. That's just my read on it. I think there will be some more on this, but I definitely it feels like some things are changing here kind of late in the game.
Interesting.
Are we talking
mysterious?
Are we talking about like I don't know, maybe OU's front office feels a certain way, and maybe people representing him feel a different way.
Yeah, and again, there have been, because you look at it, like there have been schools kind of involved, and then a school will kind of go, this school's kind of taking lead. Because during the season, you heard a lot of Texas Tech. Like that was kind of the hot rumor. And then I had heard over the last few weeks that Tech really wasn't involved anymore. Like they just kind of walked away from the table. And I know in that graphic that On3 put out, it was, I believe, Oregon, Washington, Oklahoma, and maybe North Carolina, if I remember the fourth team correctly. And so there was kind of like, well, okay, where did A&M go? Where did Tech go? I wonder if I get the impression maybe there's a difference of opinion on
his price is too high, maybe.
Yeah, that is the most straightforward way to say it. I think there is, and again, maybe it's not, but I think what his people may want is a little different from how Oklahoma sees it.
The four schools that he announced as his four finalists: North Carolina, OU, Oregon, Washington.
Nailed it. Love that from
And here's the thing too, I think this has kind of been hinted about with Tech. It's like they went to the playoffs this year. They fell quite a way short of any kind of a national championship run when it's all said and done. I mean, and they're paying more for their roster than everybody else. At some point, somebody has to say, are we paying more than players are worth, just to say that we're getting these players instead of having hard evaluations that say this guy should be worth this much?
And from what I've gathered, talking to some people that are pretty familiar with the Tech situation, it sounds like Tech's model is never going to be really, at least not never, but at least at this point in time, their model is not to go sign top 5 recruiting classes. I don't think that's the way they see it. I think they see it as get, maybe top 20 with a couple of 5-stars in there. Like obviously they've got Jalen Brewster committed in 2027, who is an absolute monster.
Yeah.
You pay for that guy, no problem there. But I think they want to spend more of their money in the portal. I think that's where they see value, maybe. I think they can find a little more value. Again, like I've said forever, my only issue with that is along the line of scrimmage. I think it's really hard to build a Ohio State, Georgia, et cetera level program getting players from the portal because there's not that many guys like that in the portal. So I think that's been – and you've seen it. Like they got the 5-star, the Damian Guyton kid that reclassified to 2026. They signed him. They've got Jalen Brewster committed. They paid for Felix Ojo. I mean, they are showing some smarts in the way they do these things. But I think people have this impression where they're just shooting a money cannon. I think there is a plan to it. I just, I think that it's easier to, to have a plan like they have when you can just really go pay whatever you want to pay when you feel like it.
Josh, what's the latest with Gus Corsar?
Yeah, he put out a top 7 earlier this week. Oklahoma's in it. When I talked to Gus following his visit at the very end of January, it was a joke question. It was kind of a throwaway question, like, OU going to be an official visit? A school you're really going to be serious about it. He's like, oh yeah, they'll be there. But I think it was basically like, oh yeah, they'll be there to the end. So no surprise, Oklahoma makes that cut. I kind of get the feeling, unless somebody comes out of nowhere and makes a big run, I think this is going to be another one of those Kansas offensive linemen that we've seen through the last few years that kind of comes down to OU and K-State. I think Colin Klein and that staff, I got the impression that maybe the relationship had waned a little bit as things kind of started falling apart with Chris Kleiman there toward the end of the season, that maybe it wasn't good. It sounds like things have picked back up and are a little bit more on track. And I think Kansas State's absolutely a possibility, but I would be kind of surprised if it doesn't come from those two schools. That's just kind of my early read. Now, he's going to take some visits. I don't think he's in any hurry, but I definitely, like I said, as it stands right now, I think it'll come down to OU and K-State probably.
I know that was the situation when he was here that first time around at the end of January for a basketball game. He was basically getting the full court press from the trio of OU 27 offensive line commits, Caden Penny, Cooper Hackett and Luke Wilson out of Southlake.
Oh yeah, there's no question. I mean, that was kind of the deal, and I believe Cooper's tweet was like, all we're missing is Tyson Ross, another guy from the area, so guy from Andover instead of Hayes for Gus. But there is, it seems like now. What's interesting is Oklahoma offered an offensive lineman in Katy last night, a guy that I'm a little more familiar with. So I'm kind of interested to see, does that mean they're not sure about things with Tyson Ross? Does that mean, they're looking at maybe taking an extra offensive lineman? I can't trying to think if there's been a year when Bill signed more than 5, and I don't immediately think of any, but maybe there's one I'm forgetting. It's usually been 5. It's kind of been the cap, and with 3 already committed and Ross and Corsair kind of seeming like the other 2 they're really zeroed in on, it makes me wonder if maybe they're saying, hey, we're gonna let this be and live with a little attrition if that's the way it goes.
How has what kind of traction has Colin Klein gotten at Kansas State so far?
It seems pretty good. I think obviously he's a legend up there, so there's a lot of people, people that are invested in the program to begin with are going to give him the vote of approval. But it does sound like I think Chris Kleiman was just burned out, guys. You look at that interview that he did. What game was that after when he just kind of went after everybody like, I'm so sick of this, and
Utah.
People trying to say we're not trying. Yeah. There was I think that looked like a coach that was burned out, and I think that's what it was. And now he kind of gets to move on, and I think Colin Klein has kind of been a shot in the arm for that program.
Well, the good news is anything that he does in comparison to what's happening over in the basketball facility over at Bramlage is like, it pales in comparison. So
it's taking the pressure off.
It's been a great 2 months for Colin Klein, or whatever it's been since he's taken over in Manhattan.
Speaking of that rant of Chris Kleiman, no one's even going to remember that past the Jerome Tang moment. So that's nice. It's already forgotten.
No doubt about it. Real quick, Jameson Roberts moved up. I think it was in the ESPN ranking this week. Mm-hmm. It continues to sound like Oklahoma is positioning themselves extremely well for the Saraland quarterback.
Yeah, he is a guy that I think they've got him as the number 6, and they do it like we used to do it at the old Rivals, like a dual threat and a pocket passer. They split it into 2 different categories. He's the number 6 dual threat in the country. So makes sense with what we know of, what Ben Arbuckle likes to do offensively. They want a guy that's mobile, that can move around. Our guy Charles Power wrote a story earlier this week saying that he was a riser in the upcoming rankings that On3 is going to release as well. So I would guess he's going to end up in the top 300. I think that's a very likely outcome.
I
go
know
ahead.
It's just based off the Huddle film. He looks like one of those guys that OU wouldn't have recruited, and in a couple years you go, how the hell did this guy fall under the radar? 6'3", he takes care of the the measurables. It seems like they were super impressed with him when they came and visited him, just in terms of coming to Norman and kind of getting to know the family. I love this kid. I think he's incredible.
He's a guy we really probably should get on the recruiting report at some time. Very level-headed dude, like just like a guy that I think fans would say and be like, yeah, I want that guy to be my quarterback. Like just kind of grace under fire. It's kind of the feeling you get with him. Because, people forget, Saraland's is a very good program in Alabama, no question about it. That was his first year as a starter, and he went, I think, 35-8 for and 3,600 yards or some crazy thing. Like, he had a hell of a first year. So there is there's plenty to believe in. I think it's been very telling how much OU, pretty much since he took that visit, has just bought in completely to him.
Speaking of the recruiting side of things, and I want to talk about McCullough and just Oklahoma's, I guess, advantage, or if they have any advantage in trying to keep somebody like a Micah Rhodes, and talk about the 27 commits. But real quick, with the newer guys, Jason Witten and Lamar Morgan, have you seen any movement from them in terms of recruiting and going out and starting to talk to some of these guys with some of these latest offers filtering out of OU?
With Lamar Morgan, really no. The only guy that I can think of, and it's Blaze Brown. I'm not sure how to say his name correctly. Is a kid from California that he was heavily involved with in Michigan. Adam Gorney spoke with him, I believe, last week, and he was like, well, yeah, I'm now super interested in Oklahoma because of Lamar Morgan. And I believe OU had already offered him, so there was some groundwork laid, but this is clearly Lamar Morgan taking over at Oklahoma has given him kind of a renewed interest. Now, the thing that's going to be interesting to watch here is Lamar Morgan's obviously been hired to be the corners coach. Oklahoma already has a safeties coach. Lamar Morgan was the defensive backs coach at Michigan. Mm-hmm. So how does that kind of shift around? Like, how does that look? Does Lamar Morgan hand somebody off that's a safety guy that he liked to Brandon Hall, and that door kind of opens? Or, he says, that's not really what we want for our scheme. That'll be interesting to see. Like, because that we don't know how that's going to be handled, because obviously the safety room, the ultimate call is Brandon Hall's.
My day kicks off with a refreshing Celsius energy drink, then straight to the gym. Pre-K pickup, back home to meal prep. Time for my fire station shift. One more Celsius, gotta keep the lights on. When the 3-alarm hits, I'm ready. Celsius. Live, fit, go. Grab a cold, refreshing Celsius at your local retailer or locate now at Celsius.com.
All right. Anything else recruiting you wanted to get out there?
Just in terms of McCullough coming in. I mean, he already has 2 guys committed in 2027. Micah Rhodes in 2028. We had talked about Micah Rhodes' situation and the kind of the DeMarco fallout from him taking the Kansas City job. You have a story up on SoonerScoop.com right now. What's the latest with Micah Rhodes? I think that, like, as soon as DeMarco took the job, I was like, okay, well, we're on Micah Rhodes' decommitment watch over the next 72 hours. That obviously hasn't happened. Good news, bad news? Where's he at just in terms of his relationship with Oklahoma now that DeMarco Murray is in Kansas City?
Knowing how big DeMarco was to his recruitment, like I'm pretty impressed that Oklahoma, like you said, Eddie, kind of kept that on the tracks while this was going on and, hunting for a new position coach and those kind of things, because I'm with you. I thought by the time this hire is made, Micah Rhodes won't be in the commitment list anymore. And because he was clearly disappointed about it. I know some people have I said something last week. I think people took it as like angry. It's not angry. He was just disappointed. He wanted to play for DeMarco Murray, and that's fine.
He talked about it. He tweeted it, talking about, this is everybody's trying to get to the league at some point. Same could be said for coaches.
So, and with that in mind, we talked about it on the instant reaction. If I'm Deland McCullough, first time I meet him, I'm walking in with my Super Bowl ring from 2019. Like we're going to show that off and make sure that's front and center. But there is for me, like I said, there's no question that in having a fairly lengthy conversation with Micah this morning, on Wednesday morning, there was real optimism. Like he really seemed very I think almost he was waiting to be disappointed. Not like he didn't believe in who they were going to hire, just like it's not going to be DeMarco. But once the hire was made, it was like, oh, okay, that's pretty promising. Like it definitely felt like it exceeded his hopes.
Yeah.
And now I think I don't think he's gonna go and decommit. He's got a quote in the story where I think before he does anything else, he wants to have a real sit down with Deland McCullough, and obviously Oklahoma will facilitate that as quickly as they possibly can.
All right, I kind of had some stuff I wanted to bring up with you guys. We're going to get more into detailing Oklahoma, the roster as we get closer to spring football. I wanted to kind of get you guys' take on some of the big changes that have happened in college football. Obviously, a lot of head coach movement during the offseason. I mean, headlined by Lane Kiffin. But you also had Matt Campbell going to Penn State. Here's what I'm curious, though, to get your take on. There have been a lot of coordinator hires that have kind of made the news. I mean, you had Gary Patterson taking over at USC as the defensive coordinator. Clemson bringing Chad Morris in, bringing him back.
Texas.
Oh yeah, firing
they got
Kwiatkowski and bringing in Muschamp. South Carolina, Kendall Briles. Northwestern's bringing Chip Kelly in to be their offensive coordinator. I'm curious, out of all those names, like, who do you see being the biggest bust, and who do you see being the biggest success?
Of those that you just listed, or
that we just talked about, yeah,
or just any of them,
or any of the new coordinators. You want to throw out somebody?
I hate to say it, and I don't.
What happened to Iowa State's defensive coordinator that was so good for so long?
I think he retired.
Did he retire?
Yeah.
I don't know. I hate to say it. I think Gary Patterson was a pretty good hire.
At USC?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's always been able to coach defense. There's no doubt about that.
But he also has bust. He has bust potential.
Sure.
But I also think he could be good for them.
It goes back to the Lincoln stuff. Like, is Lincoln going to allow him to be a defensive coach? Is he going to have a physicality at practice that, I think that I shit on 5-6 years ago. Guys just show up and they're physical. I think we've seen over the last couple of years with the, somewhat of a culture change defensively, or at least the mentality wise in Norman. Yeah, like that's important. You have to practice that way if you want to be that type of team on Saturday.
They also don't play special teams.
They did hire Mike Eckler to take over to become their special teams coach. Yeah.
I don't know.
He got fired by Nebraska, didn't he?
Yeah, I think that's right.
I don't know if that's a good hire then.
But here's what I always thought was such a unappreciated part about Gary Patterson. Those guys on that defense that led them to the national championship, that was the defense that he built. And Sonny Dykes just came in and took full advantage of having that roster defensively.
I think, Carey, thinking about like some of these hires, like Gary Patterson or Kendall Briles, where did he end up? South Carolina?
South Carolina,
yeah. Maybe not Muschamp at Texas, because I actually think Texas had a decent.
I think Muschamp has massive bust potential.
But I'm not talking about bust as much as it feels like some of these hires that these coaches made are almost like a last ditch effort. It's like, okay, well, Lincoln's like, I got to go get somebody that's super proven. I'm going to go get Gary Patterson or Shane Beamer's like, I got to go win next year. We got to fix the offense. I don't care. I'm going to hire Kendall Briles. I don't from
it's my job or
right. From an Oklahoma's perspective, and maybe this is just drinking the Kool-Aid, wearing the crimson glasses, whatever. Doesn't it feel like, and we started the show with this, I think Oklahoma's staff is better than it was last year, and I don't know how many people nationally are thinking about that, because they didn't change coordinators, right? Brent's going to call the defense, Ben's going to call the offense, but I think they got better, just overall staff-wise. I think their roster got a lot better, but nobody's talking about, I see all these lists out there that everybody wants to talk about, and it's list season, it's February. People want to put out, here's the top 10 programs with the best future, or the top 25 for next year, or whatever. And for some reason, Oklahoma, it feels like Oklahoma's just not on those lists. To me, Oklahoma's coming off a really good year in which they overperformed, and it feels like, and again, maybe it's just being in the OU bubble, that they've actually gone out and gotten a lot better, and they haven't done anything like that some of these programs are doing, and where they have to, it's a last-ditch effort to try and fix something.
Yeah.
I think one of the names, and I agree with you, George.
OU was the best, sorry, Eddie, but the best way to put it is OU was a playoff team, and they got better as a coaching staff.
Jim Knowles, I think, at Tennessee is a pretty damn good hire.
Yes.
From where, I think that I was just looking through
Although,
the
is
SEC.
he checked out?
No, I worry about him being checked out.
Really? I don't know.
I mean, the word out of Penn State last year was that he was a bit checked out. I mean, that defense got significantly worse than what it was, or what it was expected.
What about Colt Nicky going back to Kansas?
I think Kansas is dead. Done talking about Kansas football. I just don't really know what happened there.
They were really good when Colt Nicky was there, of course.
Yeah, but they took a step back defensively. I don't know if I necessarily.
They did have some studs on defense and that were underappreciated.
As quote unquote good as the Big 12, a Tech has lapped Kansas, right? And I thought that they were kind of almost on the same playing field for a minute.
So how many? Sorry to bring bring Lincoln back up. How many defensive? He's been a head coach for.
Started with Alex.
This is they're going to be his 9th year, right? How many different defensive coordinators has he had now in 9 years?
Just as a head coach in general?
He didn't start with Alex Grinch. He started with Mike Stoops.
Oh, I see. You're talking about Oklahoma.
I'm
talking about just in his career, how many defensive coordinators has he had?
Maybe 4 or 5? Would that be right?
I mean, Oklahoma only had 2, Mike and then Grinch.
And then Grinch again.
Went with him to UCLA, and then he hired
USC. Not UCLA.
Then he hired guy was only there for 2 years, right?
The guy that just left, or they just fired. I can't remember.
Would that have been the guy that took over from Grinch? Was there a?
Gosh, people are yelling at the
No, it's Danton Lynn.
Oh, there you go. So how many is that? 5? Patterson is 5?
Here, I've got the lineage right here.
It'd be 4 because Grinch was a relapse.
It was Alex Grinch, then Danton Lynn, and now Gary Patterson. So he's had 3 at USC. So he's only had 5 court.
So not
4,
that many.
4.
I thought it'd be more.
4 defensive coordinators.
Hey, don't forget Ruffin.
River Rat.
I mean,
shout out.
On the flip side, OU's had 3 different offensive coordinators in 4 years.
It will be interesting.
But
that's the fun part.
But is Chad Morris, take his head coaching out of it. Could he be an upgrade for Clemson? Could he get them back to being relevant?
I think he's got bust potential.
He does.
That's another hire in that category that I'm talking about of like
it's a tired hire.
It's just like a
it's a safe
I don't know
hire.
what to do.
It's a very safe hire.
I don't know what to do, but we gotta like
we know this worked at one time. So let's go back.
It's the same with like Lincoln hiring Gary Patterson.
I think I'm almost kind of jaded in a way too. That thinking back to everything that was said after the Seth Luttrell hire, and you want to keep the continuity and you want to keep everything about the same. I'm about as like 180 on this as you possibly can be now. Like change it up. If you're firing somebody or if you're making a move at a position, like do the opposite of what you've been doing. In a way, I know that there is some good things that come with continuity and that type of stuff.
What I think is crazy about the coaching movement that we saw during the offseason is Virginia Tech definitely got better hiring James Franklin.
Yeah, and they were able to keep Brett Pry.
I don't know if Penn State's going to be better.
I just don't know.
I think Matt Campbell's going to win.
Really good.
I think Matt Kimball's going to win there, but is he going to win more than James Franklin did? Like James
that's
Franklin,
my question. Is it like lateral?
Like I think Matt Campbell can go there and win 10 games, but that's what James Franklin was doing.
Yeah.
And I think LSU will be better with Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
It just is everything else that comes with Lane Kiffin that I don't know if I would be able to step on that ledge and say, yeah, this is going to be.
They don't care. That LSU does not
care.
But
it's a problem on Saturdays is what I'm saying.
Shia LaBeouf will be in his suite during the games next year.
Josh has
He's a badass. He's on a generational run right now in New Orleans. What were you saying, Josh?
I was gonna say, how much of James Franklin do you think? Like, I think there becomes a point when if you have the same guy, the same voice, how hard, especially in this era where boosters are more important than they've ever been. How do you keep going back to them and saying, hey, we need more money. We need more money. Nothing's changed. We're not doing anything different, but this time's going to be different.
And Lane doesn't seem to give a shit about boosters.
Oh, no. No, I meant more at Penn State. Like, I meant with the James Franklin thing, like you just have to make a change so you can keep fundraising, so you can keep doing the things you plan to do.
He's going to get a grace period because those people are insane. They're just like some of the SEC's fan bases across the country that they just, at the end of the day, they just want to see Penn State win. I think we saw that, 15, 20 years ago with all the Sandusky stuff. They don't really care what happens off the field. So he is going to have a bit of a grace period to win football games and get it turned around. I don't know how long that will hold. And especially, like you said, in today's world where they'll just run another one out there. They'll pay another $70 million in buyouts.
And see, there's 2 coaching hires that could not be anything else but an upgrade. Eddie, I think I know that you're a fan of Pat Fitzgerald at Michigan State.
Yeah, I think I just am worried about Michigan State just as a program, but I think Pat Fitzgerald's a fantastic coach. If he would have been available and OU was looking, I would have banged the Pat Fitzgerald drum for sure.
The other one, just because it had fallen so far, and I know this is not the podcast to say this, but I think Oklahoma State might have done the best job of trading coaches in the offseason.
From everything that I've been able to see, just from kind of reading the tea leaves and talking to OSU buddies, he's at least done one thing that I think had been completely lost is just the apathy in Stillwater. Like, there at least has a fan base that's bought back in a little bit. I think it might be it's going to be interesting to see what their number comes out at this summer, like over-under wins-wise, because their schedule is somewhat tough. You have Oregon in there in a non-conference game. Like, I think it could be a little bit of a rocky start just making that transition, but I think from a longevity standpoint, I like Eric Morris. I think he gets it. He does all the things that I think you would want from an Oklahoma State coach to be able to do.
If he has a quick amount of success there, do you think he would jump to a bigger job?
I think it just probably depends on what the money situation actually is up there. I know that like the NIL stuff has all been pretty good from the get-go, but I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what that looks like
if he had
as
great
we would
success
with the OU stuff.
If we had great success and let's say, I mean, I think Texas Tech is going to continue to be pretty good, but let's say they had a down year or two and they decided to move on from Joey McGuire. I think Eric Morris would be their number one guy.
Yeah.
You don't think our buddy would? Former Texas Tech quarterback? Lane Lincoln?
Oh. No.
I think don't know, man.
I think Lincoln's about
did he try to back channel it this past year?
Lincoln better go win some football games this year, or else he's going to be an offensive coordinator for Dabo next year.
I think USC is going to be pretty good. What do you think, Josh? Like just watching that bowl game, and I know you don't base a whole lot on bowl games, but even throughout the regular season, USC was a good football team. It wasn't like they were dog shit.
I mean, guys, they weren't. What was it Illinois that they lost like on a field goal late?
Yeah, they had
Champaign.
All the guys had the flu.
It was like the 9 a.m. start their time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they win that game, guys. They're probably in the playoff.
Yeah,
I mean, like that's how close it was. USC was not bad last year, and adding in a whole bunch of new talent again.
Number one ranked recruiting class, right?
I can't get like I know you guys talked about it already. The Gary Patterson, Lincoln, like I can't think of two more polarly opposite approaches to how we're going to handle a football practice. Maybe Nick Saban and Lincoln Riley, but like I mean that's what you're talking about. Like these are very different ideas on how you operate a program.
I think Kirk Cignetti has kind of destroyed any kind of practice kind of regimen that leads to winning or losing.
How much do you guys buy that? I don't buy.
You think he's lying?
Like, I think I think Kirk Cignetti likes to plant messages,
yes.
and B, I think he likes to look like the smartest guy in the room at all times.
Absolutely.
And you are the most well-versed, most well-disciplined, well-coached team in the country, and you practice less than everybody. That's far-fetched for me.
It also might be a definitely like a coping thing with me, and I just tell myself this and maybe it's not true, but I think that the practice stuff also coincides with having a team with the average age of 23 and a half.
And Josh, don't you kind of also think once that JMU bump wears off a little bit, because those were really good teams. Like
we'd have to ask PFT about that, the JMU bump.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, I'm just a skeptic like everybody else and just think that it can't be real and it can't last and this is just a flash in the pan, I guess.
I mean, I do think that it's going to I think that they have positioned themselves, and especially now in today's world where you get the ball rolling, it's going to be easier to keep it going. They're going to be competitive.
They got Cuban's
I don't
money.
think that you're going to look up and all of a sudden Indiana's rolling off an 8-5, but I think they take a step back.
They're going to be in the playoffs this year.
And I'd
bet you money. Like this isn't. I don't think Cignetti's good. I think he's really damn good.
I also think
I'm not sold on Hoover.
You don't think
exactly?
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Hoover. I just don't think he's. I mean, obviously he's no.
He's a nice player,
and
but I mean, he's like a better Chad Moore or a better. Who am I thinking? Not Chad Morris. Yeah,
Chandler Morris.
Yeah.
I think that's also a situation that, and I guess he's kind of lumped into this, and I don't know the ins and outs of if they had a bunch of injuries. I just kind of expected a little bit more from Hoover this year down at TCU.
I will say Morris had a great year at Virginia.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Who
ACC champ?
Who did Missouri hire as their offensive
I guess he
coordinator?
didn't win the ACC champ. Got to the championship game. Played terrible. Who are
lost
you
to
asking
Duke,
about?
yeah.
Who are you asking about?
Missouri's offensive coordinator. They made a very weird hire at offensive coordinator, I want to say.
I got it right here. Let me look
Chip
it up.
Lindsey left.
Kirby Moore left.
So
Kirby Moore left. Yeah, Chip Lindsey's who they hired.
Yes,
who's been at Michigan.
Previously, North Carolina, correct? Chip Lindsey?
Yes, before that, yeah. Because, I mean, that was the thing. Like, he worked with Drake May.
Right.
He's going to make Bryce Underwood unbelievable. And it just – I mean, Bryce Underwood showed growth, but it wasn't –
Listen,
it certainly wasn't perfect.
If he can get some of those quarterbacks to throw the deep ball like Drake May, he is a quarterback whisperer, and he should be paid $3 million every year.
Dude,
I don't think that's going to happen.
Where did what's his name end up? Missouri's quarterback. Where did he go?
The
Bro Pabrula.
Bro Pabrula,
Virginia, right?
either Virginia or Rutgers.
Ooh.
Why do I want to say Rutgers?
I thought it was.
I thought it was somewhere really kind of weird.
Virginia sounds kind of right. Yeah, Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where he's at.
Hey, did you guys, speaking of like just college football in general, I know that the Jaden Rashada stuff just got, I guess, finalized. Settled with did you all realize he ended up at Mississippi State? I didn't.
Yes.
I didn't realize that at all.
I think he's going to be their starter.
Is he?
I think so. I mean, I don't know what freshman Levy's brought in, but Shapen's done. And obviously, where did Van Buren?
Well, no, he's not going to be the starter. They're going to start the freshman kid.
They're going to start the freshman that played late in the year.
The kid that almost got hurt, who I think is going to be a fantastic player. It's just you're going to have to ride the roller coaster with him.
Yeah.
Big, tall dude.
What is the name of that kid? He's huge. Yeah, he's really physically impressive. Damn. What is that kid's name?
Is it the Camario Taylor
Yes,
kid?
Camario Taylor.
Yes. Yep.
That's exactly.
Where did Van Buren end up?
LSU. Remember, OU played against him.
No, but he left. He left LSU.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I think he went to a small. Like,
did he go to Baylor?
No, he went to South Florida, right, with Brian Hartline.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Well,
gosh,
man, George firing.
Well, I love that we're having this conversation like 2 months after all these coaches were hired and all these players left.
We haven't had time. We haven't had time to keep up with
this
college football. Yeah.
Welcome to February.
There you go. No, I mean it's a fun discussion. I mean, look, college football's year round.
It is.
Who is Texas starting this week?
Texas
spring practice? Or
I don't
next
think
week?
so.
Okay.
It does fire up though. Like OU is a little bit later than a lot of other schools, so you will start seeing spring football firing up across the country at some of these places. I'm excited. Wouldn't it be awesome? I know that we always talk about this, but wouldn't it be awesome if there was like some type of scrimmage during the spring, whether it be OU and whoever?
Arkansas. Well,
sure.
It would be Arkansas. Now that'd be like Oklahoma State
or Kansas or
Texas
whoever.
Tech.
Somebody regionally. It'd be awesome.
Tulsa.
Bring Tulsa down here. It'd be fun.
Texas. I mean, it'd be awesome.
Anybody.
Plus, we don't have the dumbass excuses about poaching players and spring portals and stuff now.
It is going to be interesting, and I know that we've talked about this. Carey, I don't know the answer to it. Say you are a Jonathan Hatton or, you use anybody. Doesn't have to be an OU guy. There is going to be movement in the spring. Kids are going to leave without a portal.
Yeah.
It's going to be rather interesting to see how it's handled by the NCAA.
Well, it won't be. That's the thing. It won't
Sure.
There'll be a
That's
lawsuit. Fair. The NCAA will fold and people will move.
And I will say this, too, though. The NCAA, yes, they are the heart of the issue in terms of like not enforcing this stuff. But when you have like the like, I saw a bunch of people saying, "Man, I can't believe the NCAA is giving Chambliss another year." The NCAA is not. They took him to court. Like they
say you cannot play any longer.
They have tried very hard to keep him from doing that, and it's these agents and these judges who are Ole Miss grads who are in some random district that are allowing this to happen. Like the NCAA doesn't want to be giving some of these guys. Now, I can't explain like the kid at Montana that's getting a 9th year of eligibility. I don't know his story and why the NCAA gave him a year, but like there are several cases where the NCAA was like, "Hey, we're not trying to give these people a year," but like the court system just keeps giving them to them.
Yeah, the old Miss grad.
That Montana guy needs to come out there.
Or judge gave him.
That Montana guy needs to come out there like Oscar Pistorius and wearing fake legs, or like not have legs from the knees down, have those things. Hopefully he doesn't shoot his girlfriend, but
George, have you talked to Owen about this? Maybe that could be a move he makes.
No, I think Owen's kind of at peace with whatever.
He's
happens.
in a really good position.
Yes. Which a lot of Chambliss thing. Am I crazy to think that he would be a first-round pick?
He'd be at least the third best quarterback. There's an argument you can make between he and Ty Simpson as the second best quarterback in the draft. I don't understand what he's doing. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Can I also just say, sort of on topic, but also a little off topic, Darren Heitner, I think he's a loser on Twitter.
Oh, the NIL guy?
Yeah, the lawyer guy. He just is all the
I
time
don't
like
follow him, I guess.
championing, like trying to get all these guys extra years, and I'm like, this is absurd.
I mean, at some point, just
what drives
on.
me crazy is how much media like cites him. Like, okay, because he's a lawyer, he's telling the full truth. No, he's painting the picture he wants to paint for his clients, which is his job. Like, I get it. I'm not faulting him for it. But, like, people acting like, well, this lawyer said it, so this makes it all legally correct. No, that's not the case.
How lawyers are built on precedents and
yes.
You talk about somebody
law.
who thinks that they are the smartest person in the room at all times. That guy.
Who's the other guy? Mitt
Winter. I like
Winter.
him.
He's a good dude.
He's a good dude. Yes.
What about Mitt Romney?
No.
Good. I would say good dude. He was the next door neighbor of one of my fraternity brothers in Park City. Go ahead, Josh.
Sorry. Talking to George's point, though, about people not recognizing the NCAA, there's two things about that. A, did you guys see the statement the NCAA put out? Like, we're going to continue to try to enforce the rules that the schools put in place for us to enforce. Like, that's just crazy that they – I mean, and again, I don't know how you can make the NCAA the victim here, but in some ways you're like, this isn't them. This isn't on them. The other thing is with oh, damn it, I lost my second. Never mind. Doesn't even matter. But
Josh, to go off that, though, the way the NCAA or whoever starts, like, if college football or college basketball, whatever, go away from the NCAA and whatever this new, league would be, or if the NCAA sticks around, the way to stop these things from happening is they say, okay, you know what, Ole Miss, you can't play. You don't get to play because you're violating our
you're in
rules. You're in our league.
Yeah.
And in our league, guys only get 4 years or 5 years, whatever it is.
So and you're not eligible for the college football playoff.
Right. You don't get to play in our league anymore. That's how they do it. But
that's what they predicted would happen in the beginning, but the NCAA doesn't have the balls to do it because they just get sued by Ole Miss, I'm sure.
Right. But it's just, and that's why
the NCAA do that? Like, do they have grounds? Like, the SEC, I could see being able to stand on that leg.
And I don't
know about the NCAA.
The conferences have to start being the ones to help enforce it. Because, like, if the SEC, if Greg
they can't even agree on a playoff format. How are they going to agree on this?
I know. And that's the problem.
By the way, did you see it's not just football? Did you see that the district attorney in North Carolina, what he did with the Duke North Carolina game? The Duke coach. It was when North Carolina beat them last week on the last second shot.
Oh, in basketball?
In basketball, and their coach came out and said one of their coaches was punched in the face and the other was trampled.
Yeah, that never happened.
And then the DA went back and watched all the film, and he was like, yeah, if those incidents happened, we would want to prosecute. They never happened.
He fell. The Duke coach did.
I'm back to hating Duke again.
I think everybody
Well, that means they're really, really good.
John Shire. Yeah,
Big game coming up for them on Saturday. Michigan Duke.
I'm
Washington, D.C.
So excited we're getting into the season, Carey, of Eddie just watching every single college basketball game and be like, well,
that's from the very beginning. He does it from the very beginning.
We're going to find him. I have updated the hot board if we want to transition slowly into basketball.
I was just going to suggest
I've taken Doug Gottlieb off the list. He was suspended one game by the Horizon League for coming out and attacking an official.
I feel like that's the type of guy you would want.
No, I want Mick Cronin. He's now number one. He's now number one on my list.
Mick Cronin, the UCLA coach that just went after a reporter after losing by 30 to Michigan State.
And they lost by 20 to Michigan on Saturday. He is maybe the most insufferable human being. He's the grumpiest old man that I've ever come across, but I love him. He's funny.
I love that exchange between him and the reporter.
He's a really good coach, too. There's a backstory on that exchange.
Does he and the reporter have history?
No, it's because Mick Cronin kicked one of his own players out of the game last night.
Yeah, basically self-reported a flagrant foul.
Yeah, told him to get to it. So that kid went to Michigan State originally. Then he transferred to UCLA.
And the crowd was just wearing him out.
That's why the crowd was so all over him. And it was a funny exchange. It was awesome. Played it multiple times on the radio this morning.
I felt seen in that exchange. I've been in a couple of those in my time.
It was great. OU Tennessee tonight.
All I could think about watching that video is what if Brent said to me, "You're raising your voice"? I'd be like, "Oh shit, am I?"
I'd start shouting and saying, "This is when I'm raising my voice." was a funny exchange. OU basketball, though, maybe I think it's, at least for me personally, a top 5 FOMO moment of all time not being there last Saturday.
For the Fire?
As the Fire enraged and, basically had to stop the game down against, who were they even playing? I forgot. Who were they playing? I'm having a Carey moment.
Georgia.
Jesus Christ. Who had a nice win on Tuesday night at Rupp Arena. But that was awesome. Everything that came out of it, like the content that came out of that, is completely worth it. They should do it again.
Run up to the top row?
It's just an all-time moment of me wishing that I had some video of it. I know that we were talking like before the game, like, nah, we're not.
The
we're
amount
gonna
of
be
social
good.
media that you could have put out.
It was awesome.
With that.
It was amazing. It was absolutely incredible, and they played really well.
Dressing up like when the fire department always comes and parks right in front of our office one day a week because they go out and eat as a group. I could see you like talking them into doing something with that fire.
Still might. It was awesome, but they OU did play well basketball.
What if OU won tonight?
Then you can, I think, open, at least just have the door like propped open, and we'll be allowed to have like if they win this game now, you can maybe start working your way into the you're not going to be watching, Josh, so I don't know why you're shaking your head. It's
don't do this. God, don't do this.
I'm not. I don't think anybody is.
I think we have to.
But you have to.
George, do you think that they're reversing the point shaving in their favor now? Like they're like, okay, we've got everybody thinking that we suck.
I think that not everybody's on the same page. I don't think
communication problems.
Nigel Pack is definitely not a part of the point shaving,
which makes it even worse. I don't think there was a point shaving.
But I think
it was fun to make the allegations.
We have to pause the conversation until if they win tonight against Tennessee, we can have.
Which, by the way, let me be very, very clear. I do not think they're winning tonight.
I think
it would take quite a bit. But if you do that, you do have a bunch of winnable games on the backside that maybe you could get to 7-11 or something like that. It's kind of where this thing's been for the last 4 years, guys. Like I think even I said this on radio. I don't know if you guys would agree or disagree, but like the bar for me now is to not want to see a coaching change. Like somehow OU gets to the second week of the NCAA tournament. You get to the Sweet 16, all of a sudden I'm open to the idea of Porter Moser returning. I don't think that's going to obviously happen. I think that this is going to probably be about a 2.5 week, 3 week stretch, and then the season comes to an end and you go into a coaching search with Roger Denny. But I don't know. I mean, don't you think like if they were able to somehow put a miracle together and then you win 2 games in the tournament, you could be open to the idea of allowing Porter Moser to come back, which even if that were to happen, I think it's so toxic, quote unquote, between the fan base and Porter that I don't even know if he would want to come back. Like, I think he would probably venture into what else can I get here?
It seems like we've said that for the last 3 years, though. It's like,
well, I don't think anybody wanted him. If he were to get this team,
I'm saying
Paul wanted him.
I'm saying it does seem like Porter has been like looking for an out because it's just been so terrible.
Yeah, I mean,
and like you said, it is a toxic relationship
between the fans and
Porter,
not behind the scenes or anything like that.
No. Between the fans and Porter, it's been toxic.
It kind of is what it is. I give them a lot of credit, though, for showing up the way that they have over the last couple of weeks, because I think after that 9-game losing streak, you could have definitely quit, and they didn't. So I do give them credit for that, and I think that they're getting better played. Like Bob wrote about it this morning up on the website right now. Like Dayton Forsythe it's obvious that he is now a little bit healthier, and he's starting to be able to contribute a little bit. I think it's helped him a little bit in terms of rotation. So it is what it is.
It'll be interesting to see how this thing plays out down the stretch. Women,
I kind of think I know how it's going to play out. But.
The women, let's just let it play out. The women have been very up and down. I think a lot of it depends on, how athletic the team that they are playing is. But they go to Alabama, they get the win there.
Well, I don't know if it's
great
much.
Win.
I don't know if it's athletic. Yes, I also think like when they lost to Vanderbilt, I didn't watch the Vanderbilt game and say, oh, wow, Vandy's just got way more athleticism.
Mm-hmm.
OU shot 8% from 3.
Yeah.
Like, you're just not going to win basketball games doing that. So I think it's about can they make, shots? Like, and that sounds simple, but it's true. And
can Peyton Verholtz put in like 15?
Yeah, or Chavez. I mean, Chavez has been atrocious from three
except in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and the big win, beating Alabama on the road was a huge win. They've got Georgia on the road.
It's another big game coming up.
Yeah, they're ranked 24th, and then they got Tennessee at home. So these next two games, if they win these next two games, they're going to win out because they got Arkansas and Missouri.
And you should solidify yourself in that top 16. I know that came out last Saturday, and they were 16th, right?
Yes.
Going into the game at Georgia. So you would solidify yourself there in the top 16, which would obviously mean that you'd be able to host.
Yeah, and I think if you win out, and then if you win a game or two in the SEC tournament, you're talking about not just hosting. Maybe you can get up to 3 line, or I don't know, depend on what happens in front of you, but maybe even the 2 line if you win all these games.
I think we saw in the South Carolina game that they're good enough to beat some of these upper echelon teams on a given day.
They just have such crazy swings.
They got to play. They got to play. They have to play almost.
It comes with an if. If they shoot the ball well, if they take care of the basketball, they can play with these teams. They have the talent to do so.
And there are some games where Beers looks like all world, and there are other games where she just kind of disappears. I mean, it just depends on the flow of the game. And
I disagree on your Beers takes because Beers is the same player every single game.
Yeah, she is.
The thing is like some games she disappears because she gets in foul trouble, and I really truly like, and maybe this is again crimson colored glasses. I do think officials have a very tough time officiating her. Like, and Jenny Baranchuk has talked about that at length. That like
there are a lot of times when she just gets tangled trying to box people out, and they
called
call
for it because she's the bigger girl.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and like she gets in foul trouble really quickly, and I don't think it's always her fault. Now there is sometimes that she gets a foul. You're like, what are you doing?
That's fair.
Every once in a while, she has a little mo in her, doesn't she?
Yes, but
that's absolutely fair. But the thing that's frustrating is when she's good, it's like she's the best player on the floor by far. It's like there are times when people can't handle her. And
but that's just who she is. She'll have moments
I think
like
that's
that.
Just against when she's against better competition. I think like there's a clear separator between her and somebody you're going to see from UConn or
if she plays Texas,
LSU or Texas.
Like she's dominated Florida.
Yeah,
like
sure.
Like, who's an above average team, but not a great team.
I don't think that my aspirations for this season have changed though. Like I don't think that the goals have changed. Get to the Sweet 16, try to make a little noise.
I think that I think they should make the Sweet 16. Anything after that is just icing to me. And it largely is going to depend on matchups. Like you want to avoid being the 4 seed and having to play UConn. Like that's just
if they could
really unlucky.
If they could find a way to get a 3 seed wherever, and maybe they have to get sent out to Sacramento to get that. As long as you don't have to play a 1 seed in the Sweet 16, you feel pretty good about it.
And they were a 3 seed last year, and they ran into UConn, who was they
probably
should have never been a
dynamo.
2 seed.
And I don't know who that would be right now, but I think that like that line between the 2s and the 3s and then on down to the 4s, it's drastic between the 1s.
And I will say this about the Oklahoma women's basketball team. Like watching them, it's clear they have a ton of young talent. They just have to play more basketball.
Your girl Lofton played really well on Sunday.
I like her a lot.
She is very good. That's a girl that's very athletic. And I think Brooklyn Stewart's going to be a baller too. They're going to have to, I'm very interested because they got the rest of the season and I think they can make a run. Like I think this is a team that can make an Elite 8, or if they get an unbelievable favorable matchup and they're just playing great basketball, could legitimately I probably wouldn't say Final Four, but maybe you could get there and play a competitive game to get to the Final Four. I'm very curious what Ginny does this offseason because replacing Reagan Beers, replacing Peyton Verhulst, like that is going to be extremely difficult. And they need to, it's clear, they only have 11 girls on the roster, and it's pretty obvious that they only have 11, and they really only have 8 that they trust to play. And so they're going to have to go out and get some bodies and some players that can help them next year.
No doubt.
All right. Hey, stickball's looking pretty good right now.
It was the best weekend I can remember from an OU baseball team in like the first weekend. They not just the way that they won, but how they won. Like it was a dominating weekend throughout down in Arlington. Cam Johnson was fantastic. You move on to LJ Mercurius. He's the SEC pitcher of the week. Cord Rager's the freshman of the week. Like I was joking with people on Sunday or Monday afternoon before the game Monday night. Like maybe they should just think about not playing any more games this year because that feels like they peaked at the wrong time. It's exciting though. A bunch of the new guys played really, really well.
Let me ask you this, Eddie, and I know we're getting way ahead of ourselves. What do they need to do, or what record do they need to be at around in conference play and overall to host?
I don't know what the record would be. Maybe like...
They just need to win some of their bigger series.
I mean, I think if you can finish like top 7, you'll probably be in contention in the SEC.
Top 7 in the SEC.
Top 7 in the SEC, be able to host. You move into like the top 4 or 5, and you're probably talking about maybe you could be a national seed. Just depending. I mean, I think that you look around at the, it's just based off results from week 1. LSU looks like an absolute dominant machine. Tennessee's going to be really good. Texas is going to be really good. I think OU's kind of like in that territory of they were the surprise team of the country after the first week. I don't know. It just depends. I mean, they play 17 straight consecutive games at home now. I think it's important to win a lot of these kind of the midweek games. Like they play Arizona State midweek, Tuesday, Wednesday next week. It's important to win those games for RPI purposes moving forward. So it was a phenomenal weekend. It kind of paled in comparison to the softball team scoring 34 runs, but that was just an absolute ass beating. We'll find a little bit more about the softball team this week when they go to Mary Nutter and play like functional teams from Duke and Washington, and I think Cal State's not terrible every once in a while.
Is there not a rule in softball that like if you get down 20, the game should be over? I don't care what the inning is.
Well, it's 10 after 5.
I know,
they scored 34 in 5 innings.
But like I should just be like,
innings.
if you ever get up 20 in a game, the game's over.
Oh, just that like any time it's like
yeah,
a
it doesn't
drop
matter.
dead.
It's like, okay, mercy rule.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a bad idea. I think it's unusual though for a team to get beat that bad.
By the way, just back to baseball real quick. It is a brutal SEC road schedule for them.
Yeah, I mean the
LSU, Texas. They go to Nashville for Vanderbilt. They go to Arkansas. I mean that's.
Tennessee's here in Oklahoma
Tennessee's
City.
in OKC.
It's
Florida's at home.
Brutal.
It's a bear. I think Mark Etheridge was the one that put it out, D1Baseball.com, that at the beginning of the season, OU had 54 games on the schedule. 39 were against teams that were in the projected NCAA tournament field, which would equate to, if not the strongest, one of the strongest schedules in the country.
No, but sorry, little side note there. But
it's
no,
tough.
I mean softball. I mean, I think the big question there is how good is the pitching. I mean, we know the bats are going to be there, but can this? When you have to, if you get to the World Series and you have to face what's her name from Tennessee?
God,
Something with a P, right?
Pickens? Cassidy?
Pickens.
Cassidy Pickering plays for OU, and then it was
Carolyn Pickens.
Carolyn Pickens. That's it. That's exactly it.
And
like, can you beat her? Like, can you have the pitching
Carey,
to beat somebody?
Your point, that was a question before the season, and now when you lose Jen Rocha, for however long, probably the season, we'll see.
Carlin Pickens.
Like, that's even a bigger question. It's like, you lost, the best pitching coach in the country.
Yeah. Insane story about how they found, or not found Carly Keeney, but how they came in contact with her. I don't know if we've talked about that, but basically it all kind of went down. It coincided with the same weekend that Kinsey and Kobe were getting married, and Patty called down to the wedding, was like, hey, is Carly at the wedding? Tell her I need to talk to her. So have her drive up to Norman after the wedding on Sunday. And she drove up to Norman. Patty was like, hey, you want to coach? And she's like, yeah, I need to drive back to Tennessee real quick, or Kentucky, I think it was. So she drove back to Kentucky and then drove back out here. It's just been kind of a crazy whirlwind month for the, I guess the behind the scenes workings for the softball team. But yeah, prayers for Jen Rocha and fam. So we'll see. I'm excited. The Diamond Sports, that was a lot of fun this weekend. And, I think on top of all of that, to go the entirety of the weekend with Joe Castiglione's last official weekend, going 13-0, kind of incredible, kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was a cool weekend, and hopefully it results in a lot of people in the stands for baseball games coming up, and that'd just be really cool. And Eddie, I know you've been by there almost every day, just checking the progress of the stadium. And
I think they're close. They got the fence up. They were painting the batter's eye yesterday. and it's massive.
It is
I
massive.
didn't realize how big it was. It's 3 times as big as the one that they used to have.
Wow.
I think it's going to look really cool when it gets all done. Like I like the not chain link, but I like the see-through fence out there. I think it looks really sharp.
I call it mesh, but you won't let me call it mesh.
Well, there's not mesh to be there. There are holes. But yeah, it's going to be cool.
All right.
And last but not least,
yes.
Shout out to our king, Anthony Kim, on the Live Tour.
Yeah.
Getting back in the winner's circle, one of the coolest sports stories of the year, just to see him back. I don't care if it's Live or PGA or what. Yeah, wrapping your heart around it.
Yeah.
He's such a G. Both of them. One of them did too many, but neither here nor there.
Yeah, stop texting me asking what's the deal with his nose, all right?
It's an incredible story. And, I think that, Gabe could probably talk about this a little bit more, but he worked his ass off paying dues out at Oklahoma City Golf Country Club to, just practice.
Wow.
He's worked his ass off to get where he is. Ball speed's back. It's going to be kind of fun to see, where he he went from 1,800 in the world to 200, I think. If he were to get in the top 50, he'd get into the majors. So it'd be badass if he could get up there. I don't know if he's going to be able to get enough points, but it would be awesome if we see Anthony Kim back in a major at some point.
He's not a PC North guy, is he?
Anthony Kim?
No.
Okay. I don't think
has
he's
that
from
energy,
Oklahoma.
though. You're right.
Yeah, I don't think he is from. He's from California, right?
For some reason, I want to say Vegas, but yeah, somewhere like that.
West Coast guy. By the way, do we need to give a shout out to our guy Kevin Lee for hooking George up for Valentine's Day?
Yeah, Mott was good.
It was bomb. It was maybe one of the best steaks I've ever had. Probably, it's up there with the steak that we had in Birmingham, Eddie.
I was telling somebody about that place in Birmingham this past week.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to Tournament of Champions. See how he does this year. He's been close. He keeps getting knocked out by Antonio Lafaso. That bitch. Actually, I love Antonio Lafaso.
I think he goes pretty far.
I'm going to...
you get inside information?
Maybe.
Going to see Chris Stapleton.
Is that done? Like, have they finished filming it all?
I really don't know. I say that, and I really don't know. I know he filmed something a while back, and I don't know if that's what this is or not.
Okay.
What were you saying, George?
Going to see Chris Stapleton this weekend.
Oh, that's this weekend.
Yes, on Friday.
Down at
Windstar.
That was Aaron's birthday gift, right?
Christmas,
okay.
Yeah, very nice.
Have you seen him before, George?
No, and he's top of my list.
I can't imagine how good he sounds live.
Yeah.
He's great live. I've seen him 3 times, I think. He's really good.
And the rodeo coming up, Josh?
Houston rodeo?
Yeah, next month. Or later this month and then into March. We picked who we're going to go see. We're going to go to a couple shows. I can't remember who it is we're seeing.
Is George playing this year?
I don't think so. It didn't. The list. My sister sent it to me. She's on the committee down there, and it didn't look like the list that I had become kind of familiar with, where it's like a who's who. They're still huge, massive names.
Yeah. Last year was the one that I was like, ooh, it didn't really hit. Like Luke Bryan's playing. Chris Stapleton is playing. He's one of the ones we're going to go see for sure because we haven't seen him in a couple of years. And then I think the other one, it might be Tim McGraw. Tiffany likes Tim McGraw, 90s country crap. So
I've seen Tim McGraw.
And you got your fill of Kid Rock during the Super Bowl, which I know that you watched that one. That was a really good show.
You're not going to go see Shabuzi?
The guy I want to go see is Dwight Yoakam. I'd love to see Dwight Yoakam.
Shabuzi, I'd see Shabuzi.
Liz Creed is going to be there?
That'd be sick. Dude. I'd go to that.
I almost want to take the girls and we're just going to drink Bud Lights and lift weights and listen to Creed.
Dwight Yoakam, that'll be good to see. Red Clay Strays are going to be there. I like that.
Dang, that's a good lineup.
They come through the Jones every once in a while, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Wilco's going to be there next month.
I thought Tiffany'd want to go see Cross, but she's not. It's a Monday, so it's kind of tricky with kids and all that crap. But
Jason Kersey might come down and see Kelly Clarkson.
He might.
All right, it's been a fun show. I'll let you guys go back to the conference room in your wonderful chairs that you made fun of me for buying last week.
Hockey's on right now.
What's the score?
0-0, first period.
Is it men's? Is it the Sweden?
Yeah. Oh, is Sweden wearing the cool uniforms? They have awesome uniforms.
0-0, yeah. Still 0-0. Yeah, they're in the yellow kits. Are they called kits? That's a soccer thing.
I think it's a soccer thing. That's for the gay gooters.
It is a soccer thing. The world needs the United States Canada rematch. That needs to happen.
That'd be pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
They got out with the skin of their teeth today. Canada did. We watched the end of that with Czech.
Oh, they were playing Czechoslovakia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, overtime.
It was 2-2.
It was 3-2 Czech with 4 minutes left, and they scored on a
tip,
like basically a redirected puck. Yeah. They should. I mean, they should have lost. It's crazy.
They crushed Czech like a week ago.
Yeah, in the group stage.
Mm-hmm.
Some bad news for Texas Tech today. JT Toppin tore his ACL last night in like the final minutes of their loss in Tempe. That's a big college basketball story.
All right, appreciate it. Josh, your watch went over well in the watch thread. I think everybody liked it. We're ready for you to get your Breitling Navitimer next so you can be like Bob Stoops.
Is that a Bob watch?
Bob
awesome.
wears the Breitling Navitimer, yeah.
I love those. Like I love the big ones, and I need.
You do
the
love a
dials.
big watch, yeah.
Yeah. And again, it would look ridiculous on me wearing a small watch, so it fits.
I don't know. I'll let you wear the Daytona sometime, see what you feel like wearing it.
Oh God,
it'll change your opinion.
I'd be scared to death to have it on my hand.
No, it's just a watch, man. They're just watches. They're nothing to be scared of. All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll be back again next week as we get closer and closer to spring football. We'll know more about OU's basketball teams, both men's and women's. And don't forget, we'll have a hoops report coming up this week as well. So hopefully we're getting more stickball hoops reports coming as we're now deep into spring. And we look forward to having Bob in the studio a little bit more. He does like the chairs, by the way. So that's going to do it. We'll be back again next week for another edition of the Unofficial 40 podcast right here on Soonerscoop.com.